Hello my ladies, and welcome back to another fast video here on my channel. And I just want to very quickly say we're about to get into episode number 3. Episode number 4 will come out next week. I'm sorry, this is a super late review, but I do want to say if you guys are any curious of my Buffy-a-thon that has been going on all year, where it's been things like that, I'm going to briefly talk about at the very end of this video. But without further ado, we're going to jump into Buffy number 3, which is right here. Hold on, I'm zoom in for it. So, Buffy number 3 takes place after the events of Buffy number 2. If you guys want to hear my opinions about it, I'm going to link Buffy number 1 and Buffy number 2. This is the new series created by Boom, which is a reincarnation of the original series. This is the first issue with Spike in it. No, it's not. This is the second issue with Spike in it. This is following the events that happened afterward. I do want to mention that I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm pretty sure, if not, a 3.75 out of 5 stars. It's been a minute. I read it when it first came out. I meant to review it. I just haven't gotten around to it, and that's basically what I can tell you without jumping into any spoilers. As we are so far into the series, this is the 3rd issue, so if you don't want to know spoilers, I'm going to play it up here in the corner. There's a spoiler coming, but we're going to go through it. I think I'm just going to talk about it, like, as, like, a tell by put, like, what's going on, and things like that. I think it'll be easier to talk about, because I have certain things to say about characters, but this is much more plot-driven as we get to the this is like the episode before the finale. It will be coming back. They just did announce an Angel thing, which we'll talk about in my review for number 4. As I heard there's a soft pilot in the number 4, which I have mixed opinions about. We'll see how well they do it. But back to number 3. Number 3 starts with Spike walking in on Drusilla after they release the monster. The monster is a vampire hunter, I guess. He reminded me a lot of, like, Dracula in the early days, or how they portrayed Dracula, not in the early days, how they portrayed Dracula in, like, season 10 of Buffy, if you know what I'm talking about. That's what he reminded me of. They do kind of play with that a little bit as well as we go further. I'm wondering if that is Dracula. I'm not entirely sure, but then again, it is a vampire hunter, but it looks like a vampire, like somebody who, like, morphs into a vampire. I don't know the story. They don't really give us a good story of who this character is, except that they're very pissed off. Drusilla and Spike are very mad. I do not like... I have mixed thoughts on Drusilla and her relationship with Spike. I'll get there, though. It's very reminiscent of the original, but it's also slightly different. But Anya does play somewhat of a smaller role in this part. I'll show you a very quick picture of Anya. She's just here to introduce the villain, and get kind of beat up a little, and then they kind of drop her, and I don't know if she'll have another role going forward. This might be her idea. It's simply just to get the necklace and things like that. But the creature gets out, and then you find Buffy. Buffy realizes the creature, and Buffy goes to hunt down said creature. She's kind of like in her head, she's just thinking about different things, moving the plot forward. We do get our first instance of Harmony, which I'll show you a picture of very quickly. But also, one of the things I do enjoy about this issue in particular is this little scene right here. One, this Giles looks a lot more like our Giles, Anthony Sear Head, but he is playing a guitar, which I just enjoy so much. Like, I don't know, there's something about it that I just really, really like. I like the idea of it, and things like that. They make several jokes about it, which I really like, which is a big thing in the TV show, that they joke about that he plays guitar, or whatever. Now, something interesting, and they build up the plot from the last book, is Cordelia and Spike's relationship. I had a feeling that, okay, this reminds me a lot of the first season of Vampire Diaries, between Damon and Caroline, and how Caroline gets to become a vampire. It's kind of a spoiler, but it's fine. This is what it reminds me of so much. But I have yet to see Christina Carpenter as the role of Cordelia in this, and I know they're different characters, but the style design and the characters developments, like, Spike really does look like, I can't think of his name, James Matters, who plays him in the TV show, and so I was expecting this to look like, Jessica Carpenter. That's what I expected it. And this is the first image, and it's her kind of like power phase or whatever that I really enjoyed. She helps take down this monster who's not actually a monster. And then Buffy shows up and realizes, hey, it's my turn to play or whatever. And so she goes and she beats up the creature and things like that. It's really, really funny, though. The whole exchange is funny. I'm going to read you a line. So, destroy, cleanse, destroy all vampires. And so they're talking about, like, she's making, like, her puns and stuff. And as the series goes on, the puns get a little better. I'm still not a huge fan of them. I'm happy they're still a part of her character, as they're such a big part of the original. It's just, they cannot write the Joss Whedon witty humor that I would want them to write, or the Marty Nixon, I guess, because Joss Whedon only wrote a few episodes, Marty Nixon wrote more than a few episodes. That sense of humor, I don't think they can capture just yet. I'm hoping that in the next arc, when we get ever the next arc, that it's better. I hope they take from the criticism of us, as I do have another criticism coming up, but we'll get there. But one of the lines I really think is funny, this vampire slayer, this creature, like, this creature is it's very, really funny. So, he's like best friends with Slayer, I guess, in his head, and he's like, why Slayer? Why does Slayer hurt? Or whatever. It's super funny. And, like, I can't pronounce his name, but his only purpose in life is to protect the Slayer, and to kill people who are trying to hurt the Slayer. And so it's just, and, okay, so they kind of reference it as, like, her Pegasus, and so, like, a creature that flies down and can, like, she can ride and help and stuff. But they do trap the Pegasus, and yeah, type thing. Let's see here. But here's an interesting thing. The interactions between Buffy and Spike, I really do enjoy. I'm very hoping that they go wrong this relationship and not like an Angel relationship. I'm not an Angel shipper. I don't like Bangle. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm much more a Spike and Buffy type of thing. I'm a Spuffy. So, it's up to you who you are, which fandom you follow. I do not follow Spike and Angel. I mean, yeah, I do kind of follow this fandom. But I do not follow Buffy and Angel. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't like, there's just too much, it's just, I don't know. It just seems so much preachy. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it as much. But Cordelia is so much more accepting about the violence and things in this. Whereas in the first season, she was not about it. She was like, this is not cool. And I'm not really sure why she's more into it in this issue. But yeah. But she wants to be there. She wants to be a part of the fight and things like that. Which I really do like. And so they're like having a standoff moment. I do kind of want to show you like one of the images. Just because it gives you an idea of their personalities and things like that. So that's like one of the images. It's pretty good. I enjoy it. I think they did a good job. And personally, just them, personally, I really enjoy. So they get ready to fight, and then Drusilla comes up, and Drusilla is going to bite Buffy. Drusilla wants to kill Buffy, obviously, to taste the Slayer's blood. Drusilla is not as crazy as she is in the TV show. And I have strong opinions about that, which I'm going to get into at the very end. Because it ends with Drusilla coming up with a plan. And honestly, I'm not sure how happy I am about it. But we'll get there. They hit Drusilla, so these people show up. Hold on. Okay, I don't get an image. Can I just zoom in on them? Okay. So, my two least favorite characters of this whole series show up. Xander and Willow. Honestly, though, can we just talk about it for a second? I don't know why Xander looks like this. Okay, I don't like it, like, at all. Willow is in the same outfit she's been wearing for the past 2 issues, and I still hate it to this day. I don't like how they skipped the whole Oz thing, especially because Oz Hannigan has come out and said so many interviews about Oz, and about Tara, and how Tara it's probably the love of Willow's life, but she still very much understands why Oz had a purpose and different things. Like, Oz had a purpose. And I understand we live in a culture now where Willow would probably be more accepting about her sexuality, but it does not mean her parents are more accepting about her sexuality. I have no idea. I want to see a Willow spinoff. I want more of the character. I'm not enjoying these little snippets that we're getting of these characters because it's not building these. Buffy is becoming, I don't know, I'm just not getting enough. It's not good enough, I guess. And when you guys read it, if you guys read it in like the volume issues, it's gonna be like 120 pages or something like that. And I still don't think that's gonna be enough to like even begin to describe how I feel about these characters. Either way, Will makes some smart remarks saying, oh, we did a good job or whatever, and Buffy, not Spike, and Drusilla run away. Giles comes and captures the creature in this little vase thing and gives it to Buffy, says keep to hold on to type thing, as it is kind of like her, like little Pegasus. So, but then Cordelia comes back and says, sorry, I thought I could be nice and friendly to everyone in Sunnydale, but all you are too weird for me. Yet, it makes no sense whatsoever, because she was just all about being there about that fight when it had pertained to Spike. And I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that either, how they switched her so fast. And partially also part of me feels like maybe they did it for the aspect to bring in more of the original Cordelia's character, but honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest. I do want to show this cute little art of Giles and Buffy, as they do have another more of a father-daughter relationship here, which I do enjoy them building to this. I don't know if they know how long this was going to go on for. It could be why we're moving so fast. I'm not sure, but we are coming up to the end of the issue, which is Drusilla's plan. So Drusilla took Buffy's phone, and they're there. So the reason why Drusilla and Spike are in Sunnydale is because there's this prophecy that vampires, they can find. It's like the amulet in season 4 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where like you wear it on your wrist and you can't get stabbed by a stake or whatever. You can't die. You can go out and it's like the amulet that like holds all magic or whatever. It's literally almost annoying completely. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. If I can find an image or something, I'll try to put it on screen or whatever. Or maybe if I can try to find a clip or whatever, I'll play it like right now or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but it's like the sunlight ring in like Vampire Diaries, but it protects you, you can't die or whatever when you wear it. And so they're in Sunnydale looking for that ring, or that amulet or whatever, and Spike's like, well, maybe it's not here, maybe it's not real, and she's like, prophecies are not real, myths are real, type thing, I don't know. And then they're like, well, we have another problem, and she's like, I hate friends, but friends are easy to manipulate, and she steals Buffy's phone. So, the only issue wait, this is like the last page, by the way, maybe it was curious. The issue I have with this is, one, I don't like the look of Drusilla. I like the look of fragile Drusilla, who has been through literal hell. I think it's such a better character development, especially you watch Angel and you watch Buffy and you really see where the character goes and where the character has been. It brings so much to the table, and it makes her such a, well, complex character that we all enjoy, to hate, to love, whichever side you're on with Drusilla. Well, honestly, it just all depends on episodes for me. Certain episodes I'm like, yeah, Drusilla, you go. Then I have other episodes where I'm like, Drusilla, what are you doing? You're doing something wrong. So, it just all depends on where you stand. But with that being said, I don't like smart Drusilla. She is smart. I'm not saying she's not smart in the TV show. I am just simply saying that she's a little bit more witty. She does come up with most of the plans, this is true. Most of the ideas are her ideas, but these are not based off premonitions or dreams she's having. These are simply, they're there to do a job. They're there to get something that she wants. And also, there's a line that I hated. Oh, I hate it so much. So, they're talking and such that whole stage of where he's like, maybe it's not true. She lashes out and says, just a myth, there's no such thing, only prophecies, only legends. And he's like, yes, mistress. I'm not kidding, he called her mistress. And it changes the whole balance of their relationship from Spike had a purpose in their relationship because it was to protect Drusilla. He was always there to protect Drusilla. Drusilla didn't have a lot of power. I don't like this version of Drusilla. And I'm very curious to see how I feel about Angel. He is showing up in the next issue. But, I don't know. Not a huge fan. I did give it an okay score. It was about average with everybody else as well. The only other characters I'm still not sure if we're going to see or not is... Hold on. So, some big things that they pop up because the Daily School Bulletin at the very end of the novel, the graphic novel, or the issue, the issue is showing the cover for the next episode, for the next issue, and then also for, yeah, the cover and kind of what's about or whatever, briefly. So the next issue is the Sentinel, and mixed up during study time with some cheap eats and free Wi-Fi. Our own Jesse McNeely has soup on the bites around Sunnydale. I had no idea what that means. I'm very curious to see. But this one has something about the basement of Sunnydale High. So we did play with the basement in season 7 of Sunnydale. It became such a big aspect in the first like 3 or 4 episodes, and then it kind of died away, and then it became like bigger aspects towards like the middle of the season, and then huge aspects towards the end. And so I'm curious if they're setting up anything for the basement for any big epic showdowns. I really personally don't want this last episode to be action heavy. I really want this last issue to be much more slower. I want to know these characters before we let go of them for a few months, sometimes up to 6 months. So I'm very curious to see how I feel about that. But also, they keep mentioning Mrs. Calendar, yet there has been any incidents of Mrs. Calendar, and so I'm wondering if it's just something a tease. I'm not entirely sure, but of course, I do want to know down in the comments down below how you personally felt about this issue. Did you like it? Did you thought it was okay? What was your opinions about it? Because honestly, my opinions can change. I'm sure when I read them all the way through, which I was planning on doing for the last issue, but when the whole thing comes out at the end of May, then I'm going to read them all together, and we're gonna like have a discussion about it. I think I'm gonna sit down and talk about Boom in general, if I think they're doing a good job with it or a bad job. I want to see what the whole issue, the whole arc is, personally. Now, of course, you can check out. That's like the end of the review. Now we're gonna talk about Buffy-a-thon. So Buffy-a-thon is put on hold. I think I'm gonna start it back up in what did I say? Like September, I think, or October, something like that. Towards the end of the year, I'm gonna set it back up. I am moving it to a different channel, which I'll talk about I'll make a whole video about it. But I just want to quickly mention that I just didn't have enough time to do the whole editing process and the whole thing for Buffy-a-thon. And so we're still gonna have the episodes that we already have. All those are gonna stay up on my channel. Buffy-a-thon's still very much a thing. We're just pushing it off for a few months until I get my footing, and once I get my footing back, Buffy-a-thon will come back, and we can do the whole thing just like we had planned. We're going to start exactly where we left off in Season 2, and yeah, it's going to be really fun, really, really exciting, but I just want to mention it here with this episode, with this review, because it has something to correspond with it. Alright, without further ado, guys, I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this review. I know it's kind of a little bit different from other reviews I've done, but I figured it made sense for this one to go through it by, like, the whole thing, which I think the next issue will be the same thing unless it's longer. So if you guys enjoy this, please give me a big fat thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you all next time for another beautiful video. And don't forget to hit the bell button because obviously these are freaking random.